Continuing on with the Clone Wars and the Battle of Umbara arc, I hopped over to the next episode on the list, Season 4, Episode 8, The General. We open up on Rex and his crew under attack. There are long, shaky shots that almost feel like Saving Private Ryan's Omaha Beach landing sequence, kind of in the visual style, the way the camera moves. We even get up close on a downed trooper and see a medic tend to them. There's heavy incoming fire. At one point, a clone yells incoming and Krell just kind of stands there. Everyone else ducks and covers. Krell just stands there and looks at the clones in almost like a disgusted way, like he's sickened by their cowardice. Now, I don't know if Krell is brave or stupid or a mixture of both. From the last episode, we know Krell isn't exactly the best leader or tactician, so maybe he's just an egocentric dum-dum who became a Jedi Master and rose through the ranks. Who knows? When he was standing there, though, it reminded me of like an 80s action movie. So, Krell talks to Obi-Wan on a hologram. Obi-Wan tells Krell that there's an airbase that needs to be taken over to sever supply lines and allow Republic forces to push through. Krell says that they'll take it over, and the troops will begin to move out. Rex spots this particular airfield from afar. Krell says that they'll engage the Umbara forces in a full forward assault. And I keep thinking, what the hell is with Krell? He's like the dumb tough guy. Zero strategy, zero planning. Just move right up the middle, get slaughtered, and repeat. But despite Rex offering up an alternative plan, or at least allowing for some recon of the area to form an alternative plan, Krell shuts it down and says they don't have time. So they'll just move right up the middle. Stupid solutions, stupid strategies for complex problems. I understand that time is of the essence, but none of this will do any good if the only plan you'll accept is to march your forces straight into the meat grinder over and over again. So Rex tells the troops the plan. In what is probably my favorite scene in the arc so far, the vast majority of the troops are completely against Krell's plan. They say things like, the casualties are going to be high, and things like, is Krell trying to get us killed, or I wasn't sure if Krell was crazy before, but now I'm positive. And they're just talking about the general's flawed strategy. I love this scene. Mutiny. Poor leadership does not instill confidence in the troops for sure. 5 says General Skywalker leads from the front. Krell hides in the back. The troops are grumbling. There's definitely a feeling of mutiny in the air. I know I talked about fragging in the last episode, and I know I said I don't think that will happen in this show, but I might be wrong. This scene was a powerful one. Individual clones voicing their own opinions freely about the task ahead of them, bickering. And after a scene like this, I would be very surprised if there wasn't an attempted mutiny, or at least insubordination in some way, up front with Krell. Krell has a great number of victories under his belt, but as Fives points out, he also has higher casualty numbers than any other general. Krell leads from the back, sends forces straight up the middle, takes enormous casualties, rinse and repeat. The plan commences. A giant centipede comes up from the ground, and when I first saw it, I kinda went, eh. But when I saw the turrets on the top of each link and realized it was an actual Umbaran armored vehicle and not like some random creature that popped up, I thought it was kind of a neat design. It seemed a little silly at first, but it offered some insanely chaotic moments. And that's the thing with this episode. I'm kind of struggling to write a lot. While a lot of the episode is an interesting look at command orders, mutiny, and poor morale among the troops, most of the episode is just fun and interesting action. Action that, of course, is horrible when you think about how stupid their orders are, but is pretty damn fun. The atmosphere of the planet continues to be dark and dreary, heavy fog rolling in, thick vegetation. Everything looks primed for ambush. The clones are walking through unfamiliar terrain. Rex begs for recon. Krell denies every request. So they're walking blindly through terrain that their enemy is extremely familiar with. It's a recipe for disaster. Unhappy troops, a disliked leader, a determined enemy, and completely foreign terrain. So they're able to get past the centipede things with rocket launchers, and they keep moving forward. As they're walking, the eerie feeling of the planet really comes into play, because we see the planet not in chaotic action, but in yet another calm before yet another storm. And the planet is the most uninviting when it's quiet, too quiet. The quiet quickly dissipates. Giant Umbaran robot spidery vehicles show up. They can lob these blobs at enemy forces like catapults, obliterating troops, just completely making them disappear. The camera cuts to Krell sitting on the cliff, watching from afar. He tells Rex not to retreat, tells him that's a direct order. The camera cuts back to Rex, and it hangs on Rex's helmet. Without seeing his face, without any expression, you can feel the contemplation. This expressionless helmet somehow conveys expression. There's a little bit of turmoil going on inside of Rex's head. This plan is obviously not working, but he believes in the chain of command and the importance of following orders when given by your superiors. and Rex decides to continue with Krell's plan. If it wasn't for Rex and the troops' respect for Rex, I think they would have long given up on this plan and staged a mutiny. And the more I think about it, the more I'm wondering if the mutiny won't only be against Krell, but could it also be against Rex? I mean, what if Rex never changes his tune? What if he never disobeys the orders? What if he never turns against Krell? The men won't put up with this nonsense forever. If Rex continues to support the recklessness of Krell, and they decide to stage a mutiny, then they'd have to stage it against Rex as well, right? Which would be incredibly interesting. I like Rex, but man, that would be interesting. A captain who believes in a code, believes in the importance of following orders in the chain of command, who believes in it so much that he would go down with the ship, that he would fall alongside Krell, a man he seems to vehemently disagree with, in order to not break this code. Do I think that will happen? No, I don't. Do I want it to happen? Kind of, just because it would be really interesting. So Rex tells Krell that he sent 2 clones, Fives and Hardcase, into the enemy airbase to steal some enemy fighters to help take down the big spidery tanks. Krell, of course, gets pissy. Rex kind of hangs up on him prematurely. Fives and Hardcase are able to get past the Umbaran airbase wall. We hear a little nod to Han Solo and A New Hope as they're sneaking around. Rex and his crew are just kind of keeping the Umbaran tanks occupied, while Hardcase and Fives are able to steal 2 Umbaran ships. I love the design of the Umbaran ships. They remind me of like a mixture of Minority Report and that Oblivion Tom Cruise movie for some reason. The shield bubble is neat. It's a cockpit with basically a full 360-degree field of view. There's see-through controls, hologram controls. At first, Fives and Hardcase don't know how to fly it, which reminds me of Will Smith when he's trying to figure out how to fly the alien spaceship in Independence Day. They're swaying from side to side, figuring everything out as they fire sporadically at Umbaran forces. And through the chaos of them trying to figure out how to fly this foreign craft, they're able to wipe out a significant number of enemy aircraft on the airfield and take out some Umbaran troops. There are so many small moments in this episode and arc that I love. So many that I really can't list them all. When one clone is nonstop firing at the spidery robot, another clone says you're just wasting heat. So many moments within the action that if I talked about every single moment that I thought was neat or clever or just flat out awesome and fun, we'd be here all day. Little moments between the clones, banter, lines of dialogue that make the entire battle feel alive. And until this arc, Domino Squad was my favorite. By the end of this arc, I'm kind of expecting it to become my new favorite. I love how the clones in the show are individualized. I can't stress that enough. I love how they have their own quirks and personalities, sometimes even joking about why they are the way they are. Going into the Clone Wars, I never would have expected them to be able to pull this off, but they do, and it's great. So in the end, Fives and Hardcase, with their stolen Umbaran ships, are able to destroy the spidery tanks that stood in their way. Krell utters the word impressive as he watches from afar. I don't know what he's impressed by, the ingenuity of Captain Rex maybe, the resolve of the troops maybe, who knows. My guess is that while Krell has been around a lot of clones in his days, he's never seen a unit that thinks so quickly on their feet and works together so well. My guess is that he's used to clones being just cannon fodder. And seeing this level of quick thinking is impressive to him. He probably sees it as like a good batch, right? So Krell sends in the rest of the troops to attack the airbase now that the Umbaran forces are down. We end on the troops talking, a little banter. Krell tells Rex to report. Krell shrewdly talks about how all the lost lives are just the price of victory, which, I get it on some level, but he still views the troops as nothing more than a means to an end. After Krell says this, Rex clenches his fist. He's frustrated. Rex is getting angry, it seems. Krell is the person that takes credit for the great and grand military victories, but stands in the back while others do his dirty work. You go here, you go there, and then he takes credit. Oh, there's a whole shitload of that in the history of warfare, isn't there? I talked about Rex being a victim of the mutiny earlier, if he didn't change his tune about Krell, but now I think Rex is gonna side with his men over his code, and be a part of the eventual mutiny, if there is a mutiny. I hope there is. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping for a little overthrow of command. It would make things really interesting. And I really want to see how Anakin, Obi-Wan, and everyone else would handle the mutiny and insubordination. On to the next episode. HelloGreedo, out.